everyone, so for today's video I am going to be doing a Project Life page. I started on this album, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, maybe it hasn't been that long, but I started on an album of my fiance and I, basically just all of the kind of like random memories we have, nothing that falls into like a particular category. Like I plan on doing a whole album for our wedding stuff, but this is more so just kind of all of the random little things that we've done in our relationship. This page, actually, speaking of wedding stuff, had to do with our engagement. So the next page in this album is going to be Halloween, or this past Halloween. So I forgot to pull out those pictures. So this is a little bin that I keep. I got these I bought a bunch of these from the Target Dollar Spot. I don't know, maybe like 4 months ago. They were all $1, but I keep all of the stuff that I grab most often when I'm doing Project Life in here. And then I have my photos ready when I need them. So I print them out as I'm doing stuff, and then I just kind of throw them in here. This is my other little thing that I use to kind of track where I'm at, like what my next spread is going to be. So I just keep this little basket in. I have some storage units behind me. I keep it in here. This is my little Project Life basket. So I'm going to set this off to the side. And we're going to be doing Halloween. So we went over to my fiance's parents' house one day and carved pumpkins with his brother. So what I think I'm going to do, I think I actually want to switch that like that. And then I'm thinking, so these are the pumpkins that we all carved. And I think I want to do like a waterfall here with our pumpkins, so you can kind of flip through all of them. In this video I'm going to be making my own custom, what are they called, page sleeves for these 3 photos, so I can do that waterfall like I was just saying. And if you hear a noise in the background, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear it or not, but the Bronco game is going on right now, so you might hear that in the background, and in a little bit I might have some neighbors or somebody screaming, but hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. So anyways, the first thing, so this is kind of how I think I'm going to I just totally randomly did this. I think this is how I'm going to lay out these photos. I'm going to kind of do it like this. So I'll put these 2 here. Actually, I'm going to switch these. Well, no, I'm going to do, because I have a weird thing where I don't like these 2, since they're both pumpkin pictures, I don't like them being right on top of each other. I kind of like the stuff catty corner, but if I switch these 2, then these pumpkins are right next to each other, so I think this is going to be good the way that it is. So, first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to take these 3 pictures, and I'm just going to, before I get really into this, I have not pre-prepped anything for this project. So it'll be a lot of me grabbing random things and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to punch the corners of these 3 photos that are going to be going into the pockets. So there's that one. Let me do this one really fast. This is the, what is this? This is from Fiskars, I think. I'm pretty sure this is from Fiskars. Oh, and now my heat's coming on, so you might hear that too. I'm sorry. This video is a mess. But I wanted to get this done. I'm trying to post 5 times a week, so 5 days out of the week. I will be posting on my blog, and now that I've kind of gotten my filming set up the way that I want it, I'm going to try to do at least 3 videos a week, if not more. So because this spread was going to be a little difficult, I figured I'd go ahead and do a video on it, just so that you guys could kind of see. So I'm setting those pictures off to the side. I'm actually going to set these off to the side too. I'm going to move this out of the way. This is the Design A. I don't know if you guys can even see that. This is the Design A from just regular Project Life sheet. Like I said, I just did a spread, so I'm going to be using the back or the left-hand side is what this will end up being of my little page. Okay, so I've set all of my stuff aside, and I have my little silicone mat and my fuse tool. I cut my silicone mat on accident a few months ago, so you'll see that. But I have my mat down, I have my fuse tool, it's heating up. I should have done that a little earlier, but I didn't because I'm horrible. I always forget. So while that's heating up, we can go ahead and pick our cards. So like I said, I did not pre-plan this video in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know what cards I'm going to be using, but I'm going to pull out a couple of collections. I'm sorry, I have dogs barking. They're a little crazy. Okay, so I pulled out a couple of collections. This is the Midnight collection, and this is the Heidi Swapp Favorite Things. They both have, this one is all pretty much black, white, grays, and it's got kind of like a mustardy color on some of the cards. This is the Heidi Swapp Favorite Things, and some of the cards, like this one and these, have darker tones on them. So since it's Halloween, I think these two collections will work really, really well. I'm going to go ahead, move my fuse tool over a little bit, and let me... I always forget to grab this little guy. The little stand. So he's going to sit over there for a minute while he warms up. And we are going to put our cards, or our photos in. So let me think. How did I have this before? I think I had that one there, and maybe we'll do that one there and this one here. I think I like that a little bit better. So for these, all of the sleeves are on, or all of the pockets are on the other side except for the two on the top. Those just slide in there. So I'm just putting these in here so I can kind of get an idea of where I need cards. So I need 4 of the 3x4. Is that what they are? Yes, 3x4, and then I need 1 of the 4x6. So I'm going to try and pull everything from the Midnight collection. In case you're wondering, these are the Iris storage containers. I absolutely love these. I have 2 of the big cases that they sell, and let me see. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 16 of these little cases in one big one. And I absolutely love these. One full core kit holds, or 3 of these can hold 1 full core kit, and they're awesome. I absolutely love these. They make it so easy to store Project Life cards and to kind of work with them. It's so simple. So maybe we'll do this. So I have to think on these 3 spots right here. I'm going to have these photos in a waterfall like this, and I think I'm probably going to end up doing them a little bit closer together. So these will be here. So I think this card will go really, really well here. And then these 2 cards, I'm probably going to pick out something that's not, that's just kind of a plainish background. I'm going to do that for these 2 cards. So let's bring this over. I'm going to move my pictures out of the way again. And this is basically how I do this. I just kind of start going through and placing stuff down. Like, I think that's fun because it kind of brings a pop of color. Let's see what cards we have in here. 2x2. Oh, these are cute. I don't know if I've ever seen all of these before. I have so many Project Life cards. I can't ever keep track of all of them. So, and then this is what I just end up doing most of the time, is just kind of flipping through, seeing what's there. I actually like these stripes more than I like the polka dots. But I feel like that's too much stripe and stripe. So maybe we'll leave the polka dots out for a second while we look at some other stuff. Oh, I do like these little hearts. I think I like the little hearts more. But then again, I feel like that's too much little pattern right on top of each other. Because the other one is, because this is patterned, so maybe that's my problem. Maybe we need to change this one to something that isn't so busy or has maybe a lighter color. This is basically what my Project Life process is. Just kind of start flipping through the cards and see what you find. Okay, so I think if I'm going to change it, I'm going to change it to this one. So, okay, let's work with this for a second. So maybe then we can do our stripes here. I like the tree, but maybe we can do something darker because we don't have the dark down here. Okay, I really like that. I think that's good. And the photos are going to cover most of that up, so it's not something we have to worry a ton about. Okay, so now moving on, I think we'll do, so I think I'm going to write my date down here, and then I'll do my journaling here, and then I just need a card to go on this end, and I think I want maybe these hearts. So now that I think I kind of have what I want, I think my next step is going to be, see, that was super easy to find all those cards too. And then the stragglers that I didn't use, I'll put away in a second. So I think I might want, if I'm going to use this card here, I want to find an embellishment that I can put on it. So again, let me grab, that's what's clanking around back here. These are the iris cases, in case you're wondering. Like I said, there's 16 little guys. I store some of my embellishments in here too. So that's what I'm going to pull out right now are these little embellishments, because there's some black glitter ones in that set that I think might work really well on top of this. So we have some and symbols. That's kind of cute. Maybe there's not as many black ones as I thought. There's just a couple. Huh. Well, the and is kind of random, but I don't hate it. So what if I move these two like this? You know what? I think I might be happy with that. And then it breaks up the space between the two grays. Okay, we're gonna go with that, and then we'll see what happens along the way. So this glitter embellishment was it's actually a Project Life kit. It's the Heidi Swapp glitter kit. And because this is a kind of, it's like a cardstocky kind of, or not cardstock. What am I trying to say? Chipboard. I don't know why I said cardstock. It's a chipboard material. I'm going to use, this is the Tombow Mono Multi-Glue. I took the label off because it kept giving me problems, so I took it off. But because it's chipboard, I like to use the Tombow adhesive or glue with this. I think it just sticks a little bit better. So there is that. Okay, so now that I kind of have my layout, I think my fuse tool is nice and heated up now. So I'm just going to take these cards, I'm going to stack them on top of each other, put this one on top, move that to the side, and move this over. So, if I can get that to stay somewhere. Okay, now onto our fuse tool. So if you've never used the fuse tool before, and let me just get my, all of my goodies out. So if you've never used the fuse tool before, basically what it is gives you the ability, it's just this heat tool here. And here, let me move these. Let me move some stuff around so I don't feel so claustrophobic. Okay, so it's just this little heat tool. You plug it in and this little guy heats up, but it allows you to basically fuse things together. So here's a little scrap, and this will be quick for those of you that have never seen the fuse tool before. Let me move this stuff out of the way. It's basically just allows you, so pretend like this is our page. You can just go bloop, and that would fuse this piece of plastic down onto our page, or what we're going to use this for primarily is creating some pockets. So the fuse tool is made by We Are Memory Keepers. And I got my fuse tool off of HSN a few months ago, and that's some washi tape that we can use in a little bit. And I bought it in a like daily special, I don't even know what it's called, what the technical term is, but I got a bunch of pockets. These pockets I do like. I'll be doing some pages where I actually use these pockets. I think they're better for doing a landscape, is that what that's called? A landscape versus a portrait pocket. So what I end up doing is making my own pockets, and that's really what I use the fuse tool for. You can get a ton of different pockets like these. I have a little subscription thing, I don't even know what it's called, that I get some new goodies from We Are Memory Keepers to use with the fuse tool every month. So these are some new pockets that I just got that have the gold foiling on them. So they have a ton of stuff. I think these would have been cute for this page, but again, they're not really designed to put your photos in this way. They're more to put your photos in this way. So we're going to make our own pockets. I just wanted to tell you and mention that because if you do purchase the fuse tool, a lot of them, the bundles come with pockets that are pre-made that you can use. And if you don't mind where the opening is to slide the picture in, go ahead and use these. That's one thing that I'm kind of particular with about these. I care where how the photo slides in. So I'm not going to be using these. I'm going to be making my own pockets. So to make your own pockets, it's actually pretty stinking simple. Again, I am kind of particular on how I make these, and obviously I'm going to walk you guys through how I do it. But let me see how big. So this sheet right here, I'm not going to be able to fit 2 photos in. So give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm sorry about that. My camera died there for a second, or it stopped recording. I don't really know where I left off. But basically what I was going to say is we're going to be making our own page protectors, our own sleeves for the photos, the 3 photos that we're going to do. And basically what I use for these, sorry, I am so scatterbrained. I should have been more prepared for this video. We just went and looked at houses we just got home a few minutes ago, and we went and looked at houses for probably 4 hours, I think, and fell in love with a couple things, so now I'm all scatterbrained. But anyways, back to this Project Life page. So this is just a scrap, but what it came from is this big 12 by 12 page protector. This is a normal 12 by 12, nothing special about it. This is from We Are Memory Keepers. I did get a pack of the 12 by 12 when I purchased my fuse tool, but there's nothing special about this. If you have 12 by 12 page protector sitting at home, use it. It's not going to matter one way or the other. I was at Michael's probably it was a couple months ago, and they had, I think they're 8x8 little page protectors, packs of them on sale for like $1. So I think it was like 10 or 15 8x8 pages in a bundle for $1, and I picked up like 5 or 6 of them. So I have them off to the side. I use them for smaller projects, but when I'm doing 4x6 pictures, usually I have some scraps lying around, or I just grab a new page protector. I will say, the We Are Memory Keepers, the plastic is a lot thicker than some of the other ones. I think the ones that I was just talking about that I got on sale were Recollections, and the plastic on them is a lot thinner, which is something that you can definitely notice when you're making the pockets. I don't see that they perform any differently or they hold up any differently when they're actually in your album. I think they look exactly the same, to me at least. So that's what we're going to be using to make our pockets. I'm again going to be making 3 pockets. I'm going to show you how I make one, and then the others are just made exactly the same. So the first thing that I do, now, okay, let me back up. I am very particular on how I make my pockets. If you see here, 2 of our sides are already closed off. So if you didn't care, essentially what you could do is slide your photo in here, close off this section right here, and then you'd have your pocket. Me, I don't personally like that look, so what I am going to do is line this up. Basically what I'm doing is I'm not using the sides that are already held together. It's just not the look that I like and not the look that I want to go for. I'm trying to figure out, I guess we'll do this side. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and I love this silicone mat. I don't know if you can buy this silicone mat on its own, if it only comes in certain bundles. I'm not sure. I just got it in the bundle that I got, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. It might be on the We Are Memory Keepers website, but I have not seen this very many places. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to actually flip it over. So this is a sealed edge and this is a sealed edge. I'm just going to line this up with the bottom line down here, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not a big deal. And then I'm lining it up with this line on my mat right here, but I'm moving it over just a little bit so I have enough room to run my tool and make the pocket. So then what I do is I take, this tool was included in the bundle that I got as well. And I think most bundles include this tool. There are a couple other tools that I think you can buy separately. I have another ruler that I got in my bundle, but I think for the most part you have to buy it separately. This is a standard one, and this is really the only one that I ever use. It's nice because it's got this slit in the middle of it, so you basically just line up, and then I'm going to run my tool right through there, and you know that it's going to be a straight line because it's being guided through here. So I'm just going to make sure I see my blue line in the center all the way down, and I don't think you guys are going to be able to see this really well. It's starting to get super dark and cloudy outside. I tried filming, I was going to film this video earlier, but then like I just said, we went and looked at houses, so that didn't really work. But I am also getting some studio lighting in here, so hopefully the lighting situation will be better in a little bit. Just bear with me. But all I did was I took my tool and I ran it along that side. Now what I'm going to do, and this is just my little trick that I like, I take my weeding tool. This is the weeding tool from Cricut that you can buy. If you have a Cricut, you might already have it. But essentially what I do is I just slide this along that seam. I'm putting very light pressure. I'm not trying to jab it through. I'm just putting some light pressure, and I just want to make sure that the seam is solid. There are a lot of times where it'll go like this right here. I don't know if that's completely done. It seems like it's moving a little bit. There are a lot of times that I will do that and my seam is not, it's not fused together all the way. And that's fine. You just take your tool and you go over that little bit. That's why I do that. So now what I'm going to do is I just want to make sure that the line that I've established is bigger than my picture, because I'm also going to go along the bottom here. So again, just going to line this up with my bottom edge, move it over just a little bit so I have enough room, line my ruler up with the blue line underneath, and just take my fuse tool and push it down. I do put quite a bit of pressure on it. I go back and forth a couple of times. Just like that. And then again, like I said, sometimes it works better than other times, but I always just take my, like this one, I'm not sure how strong this one's going to be. See, like that right there? I know I need to go back and do, so like this little section right here wasn't done very well. So I need, and then this little section right here. So since this is larger area, I'm just going to line this up on my blue line, take my ruler again, find it in the center, and just fuse these bad boys back together. Sometimes it takes a couple times to really get it good and fused. There you go. And then I had another little area up here. Oh, that little area right there. Since this one's super, super tiny, I'm not going to worry about using my ruler. I can pretty much put this down and just kind of go over it. Now you are melting the plastic when you do this. That's essentially what you're doing. So if you ever get like little holes, you can go over it and then kind of push down with your finger, and that will fuse everything together really nice. Okay, so that seems good to me. So now what I'm going to do, oh, I got a little something on my picture. I don't know what's over there. Anyways, now what I'm going to do is stick my picture in, because now I have my two sides. I'm going to stick my picture in here, and I'm actually going to flip it this way. I'm left-handed, so it's just easier for me to work this way. And I'm going to give it a little bit of room from where the picture is. So just a little breathing room. You don't have to do that. If you wanted to do it right up against the picture, you totally could. It doesn't make a difference one way or the other. And I'm going to put my ruler here, line her up, and just fuse away. I'm going to go over it a couple times. Make sure I'm applying a good amount of pressure. And there you go. So now I'm just going to take my little weeding tool again, run it through, see if there's any areas where it doesn't feel as secure, and it doesn't. So that is the basic way to do our pocket. Now we still have to create a slit, and we still have to seal up the top, but I do this in a couple different stages. You have to use a different tip and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and make this exact same pocket for my two other pictures, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back. Okay, so we're back, and I have all three of my pockets made. One thing I just wanted to point it out, as you can see, the 12 by 12 on this side has the same, it's pretty much the same pattern as you would have when you use the tool. So to save myself a little bit of time, I'd go ahead and use that. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to be creating the slit in the pocket. So I need to grab. Okay, so I keep this little thing. I think I bought it and it had like paper clips or something in it. I don't really remember. But I keep my little tips in here now. So the next one that we're going to be using is the, I don't even know what this is called, but it's basically the cutting tip. And we're going to be using that to make the little slits in our pockets. So the other thing that I use is a piece of cardstock, and I'll explain that to you in a second. But the reason that I'm getting my pliers out and I'm getting my little box ready is because the directions tell you when you're changing the tip to unplug the machine, turn it off. Oh, you'll hear a bunch of people yelling right now because I think the Broncos game is about over. So I'm sorry. But the instructions say to turn the machine off, wait for it to cool down, change the tip, put your new tip, or change the tip, plug it back in, wait for it to warm up. That's a lot of waiting time. So what I do is I just take a pair. These are just needle nose pliers. I had these laying around the house from when I used to make jewelry. They're, like I said, they're just needle nose pliers. And essentially what I do is I use them to take the hot tip off, and then I'm just going to screw in the new tip that I want to use. And it actually heats up fairly quickly once the tool is heated up. It doesn't take much time to heat up the little tip. So I just kind of roll it around on the mat for a second, to help cool it down a little bit, and then I drop it in this box, and I take these and I'm going to set them off to the side because I'll need it again because I'm going to switch back to the tip that we were just using. But we have to make our slits first. The reason that I make my slits first is, so you could seal this off and then go in and make your slit, and that's fine. The fuse tool is designed to do that. But what I always found when I did that, basically when you use this tip and you do that, you make your little slit, what you have to do is go through the first layer of plastic. So you're going through this layer, but you don't want to go through the bottom layer because then it's going to be pointless and you're not going to create a pocket. I didn't like that, so I didn't like it because I couldn't do it. I found that I was doing like 1 or 2 pockets before I could finally get the slit to be perfect. I would go through, or I wouldn't go through in some areas, and it just became a hassle. So I ended up doing this. It's a little bit more work, but it's a little bit more work and you only have to make 1 pocket. So you're taking a little bit more time because you're doing 3 sides first and then your slit and then closing it off, versus doing 4 sides and then hoping that you can do the slit. If you get that down, go for it. Close it off here, make your slit, and be done with your pocket. I'm just not that good at doing that. So what I do is I've just taken a piece of cardstock. I leave this in my little box that I have for doing Project Life stuff. And I just use this little piece of cardstock and I put it in here and it creates a buffer. So I'm always cutting through the top layer of plastic. There's never a chance that I'm going to go through the second layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little Sharpie pen, or you could use a marker, you can use whatever you want, anything that you can mark your plastic, because we're going to take our photo here. And I'm just going to roughly line it up, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than the picture actually is. Give myself a little bit of wiggle room and do that. So I just marked how far up I need my slit to be. Move that over there. The hardest part about doing it this way is the lining up the lines here to make sure that it's straight. So I'm not going to line it up on the bottom because I need to see that line go all the way down. So I'm going to move it up just a little bit. I'm going to move it up to the 11-inch mark, or it's 1 inch up. You can do whichever one. This is just how I do it. So I move it up 1 tick. Then I take my ruler and I put my ruler down so that my little mark is right in the middle of my ruler. Then I'm just going to move the page back and forth until I see my blue line down the center of my ruler. And now I know that I can line up my blue line so that it's in the middle up here and it's in the middle down here, and I'm going to get a straight edge. So then I just take this. You can kind of go on some practice. You can see that this is pretty heated up, so we're good to go. And in just one fell swoop. I like this too because you don't have to be super fast with it. That was the one thing that I hated trying to do the slit the normal way without putting the piece of cardboard or cardstock in the middle, is that you have to do it really quick because you want to be fast enough where you only go through that first layer of plastic. This is a really foolproof way to do it. Maybe one day if I get better at only going through 1 layer of plastic, it won't be as bad. But for right now, this is what works for me. So then I just use my little weeding tool again, and I find a little area where it's gone through, where there's a hole, and I just take my tool, stick it in there, and wiggle it around, and now that's going to be my pocket. So I'm going to do that exact same thing for these 2 photos, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I've made all of my little slits in my pockets, and now what I'm going to do, move these off to the side again. I'm going to take my pliers one last time and twist this little guy off. I've never had a problem doing this. I know it's not per the manufacturer's instructions. I've never had a problem doing it, and it saves so much time because, like I said, their way to do it is to turn the machine off or unplug it. There's no off button, but you would unplug it, wait for it to cool down, change your tip, wait for it to warm back up, and then you can use it again. And sometimes it takes about 5 to 10 minutes for it to warm up. from being completely cold. With this, you just have to wait for the tip to warm up, and because the rest of the tool is already heated, it literally takes maybe a couple minutes for it to get super, super hot. So that's why I like doing that. Again, I know it's not the recommended use, but I've never had a problem with it. I've used this countless times to make tons and tons and tons of pockets, and I've never had any issues. So while that is doing its thing, I'm going to go ahead and, oh, there are my little cards. So because this is Halloween-y, I'm going to take, I love these pens. These are the Sharpie pens, the fine point pens, and I'm gonna grab this. So this is my little guy that tells me when we do everything. So when I start doing some Project Life pages, what I'll do is I'll just sit down and I'll write out, okay, in August we did these things, September we did these, October, November, December we did all of this stuff. I'll write it down, and then I'll go through and kind of plan out what I'm going to do. And it's a nice reference, so I can go back and I know this page that I'm creating right now was October 25th. So I'm going to put on here October, what did I say, 25th? Yes, 25th. Just like that. So I'm going to set that back off to the side. This little guy, I just wanted to check. It's pretty good stuck on there. And then these two I don't need. And I'm just going to take a couple seconds and journal for my little card while my heat tool is heating up. Okay, so I am done doing my little journaling. So I'm going to take my card, set it off to the side. I'm going to grab this little guy because I've been doing some test stuff over in this corner. So I'm just going to test. So it looks like our tool is nice and heated. And then all I'm going to do is connect these two lines. So you make your slit so you can stick your picture in there, but then you also have to close off the pocket. And I have dogs barking again. I'm sorry. They're going crazy. Everybody, the Broncos just won the AFC Championship. I'm not a huge Broncos fan. I live in Colorado. I'm not a huge Broncos fan, but everybody around here is freaking out. I can hear it. Everybody in our apartment complex is celebrating right now. So dogs are freaking out. So I apologize. But anyways, as I was saying, you need to close off your pocket. So I'm just going to, I took where my slit was, I moved it over a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and fuse along this line. So again, the same thing we've been doing this whole time. You're just going to take your little ruler, line up the line from the mat, and just go down. Now see right here what I was saying earlier about if you start to melt the plastic, what you can kind of do is push in the sides with the tool and then use your finger to kind of seal it up. I don't super mind the holes. I've never had a problem with it not staying on a page, with the photo falling out if there's just a little hole. So it doesn't really bother me that much. But if it does, that's how you can kind of correct it. And I'm sorry again for the dogs. I might have to get up in a second and go put them in a different room or do something with them. So again, this whole little strip right here didn't fuse down very well. So I'm going to go all crazy and not even use my ruler and just follow the line that's already there. I will tell you this top seal doesn't matter a ton what it looks like because we're actually going to be fusing over this again. Because this is the seal that we're going to use to stick it to our actual page. So what this looks like right now isn't super big. And again, I don't really have, it's funny because I say I don't care what it looks like, but yet I have to have it look the same on all four sides. I don't really know what it is, guys. But I don't care so much how they fuse together because you don't really see, when you look at the scheme of things, when you take a step back and look at your page, you don't really see how the fuses are done. But anyways, so once you do the top fuse, so you have your opening here, I just use my paper trimmer. And this is just a Fiskars paper trimmer I have. You can use whichever brand you have at home. This I bought at Michael's. I think I used like a 40% off coupon or something like that when I bought it. It works okay. I probably will be investing in the Stampin' Up! Trimmer sometime in the future, but as far as transferring all my product that I have over to Stampin' Up!, I'm doing it when I have the money to throw into that. Right now, it's just not a huge thing. I have a trimmer that works, so I don't really feel like I have to get one. But as you can see, all I did was trim around all 4 edges. So now I have my little photo pocket. Let me grab one of my pictures off to the side. And I can go ahead, which way does this go? It goes this way. I can go ahead and slip this right into its little pocket. I'm trying to. It just goes in just like that, so it's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and do the top fuse on my other 2 pockets and cut them out, stick my pictures in, and then we will be right back. Okay, so we have all 3 of our pockets completed, cut out, and I went ahead and slipped the pictures in them just so you guys can see the pocket a little bit easier. So now what I'm going to do is bring back over my actual page, and I'm going to stick all of the cards in right now. The reason being because I think I switched these 2. I should switch those 2. When I fuse down the couple of these pockets, it's actually going to go across, and I don't want to have an issue sticking the cards in a later time. So I'm just going to, this is the way that I find it easiest to do. I just kind of, okay, I am so sorry. I swear there are elephants that live in the apartment above me. I am really sorry, guys. But anyways, I find it easiest to just fold the pocket over, because then the opening is exposed and you can slip your little cards in just like that. Oh my goodness, it is never this bad. Of course, when I'm trying to film, that's when they decide to run around and be crazy. Okay, so I have my cards in. So my page is pretty much almost done. The only thing left to do is fuse on our little waterfall pockets. And when I say waterfall, I mean that we're going to have one on top of the other on top of the other. So it's kind of like a waterfall when it's all done. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start with the top pocket. And this is where my little washi comes into play. If I can get these pieces unraveled. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip this over so I can see the seam a little bit easier. And I'm going to stick one piece of washi on this side of the photo and the other piece of washi on this side of the photo. And the seam right here, I'm sorry if you guys can see my big old noggin. I'll try to keep it out of frame. But this top part right here, the last area that we fused together, that's where, so our slits right here, the top seam up here, I'm going to line this up with this seam right here. So I'm going to line that up, and then I'm also going to try and center the photo in the middle as much as I can. So that looks good enough to me. And then you saw that I just pushed the washi down. The washi is just going to keep the photo in place so it doesn't wiggle around a bunch while we're doing everything. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way so that I can see, and I'm going to find my ruler, which is somewhere around here. It's probably right in front of me. I just can't seem to see it. Oh, here it is. See, I told you it was right in front of me. We're going to take our ruler and we're going to just fuse this down. So this is what's going to take our pocket and make it a part of the actual page. And this does take a little bit of effort sometimes because you are going through so many layers of the plastic. If you see, I kind of go back and forth in these little bursts. That really, really, really helps. So you just kind of get it on there really nice and good. And then you can go ahead and take your your weeding tool, and again just go through. So I have a little area there, a little area over around here. So I think I'm just going to go over the whole thing again. Like I said, sometimes putting the pocket down on the page takes a few times because you really have to go back and forth. There's a lot of plastic that you have to get through, so just go back and forth a couple of times. And you will be good to go. So I just do it a couple more times and then just lift the washi up. Okay, and that little area still needs some, so I'm just going to take it and just roll it really slow over this area. Use my finger to kind of push the melted plastic in. Just like that. Okay, and let's see if we got a nice bond this time. That's a little area right here. Sometimes there are just little areas that are just little boogers. And you just really have to get in there deep and just keep going at them. So, one more time. This little area right here. And yeah, sometimes you have to go over this a few times, but it's really, really worth it because this is what's going to keep your pocket on your page forever. So take the extra time to really make sure that it's on there good. Okay, and just like that, then you're done. So now, oh man, I just ripped that washi piece in half. Well, we can cut this one in half. You really don't need that much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that one up. This is going to be my next one, and I'm just going to place it slightly below the last one. So this one you don't have an edge to line up with on the top. You're just going to kind of place it, and you want to center it as best as you can below the last one. So what I like to do is I go ahead and eyeball it, put it down, and then I'm actually going to flip this down and see where I'm at. So that looks pretty good as far as this way, but I think I want it a little bit lower, just a smidge, so that you can tell a little bit more that there's another photo under there. And then I want to go ahead and just make sure that if I do the same width down with my last photo, that I'm going to have enough room, and I'll have just enough room. So I think that is pretty good placement. So I'm going to flip this up. I'm going to turn my page, grab my ruler, and this one's going to be a little bit more difficult because we have this bulk here to work with. So I think what I'm actually going to do is just kind of go freestyle. And when I say go freestyle, I literally mean just go ahead and go for it. So I like to do kind of in the middle first. If I'm going to do it this way, do one on one side, one on the other side, and one in the middle, because that really secures it down. And then you can kind of go in and fill in the rest with whatever you need to fill in with. Just like that. And luckily I have a pretty light colored card on the back. So if I don't get it perfect, you're not really going to see it because the cards are lighter. Okay, and then I'm going to just lift it up, take my weeding tool. No, I think that one might have been good. Okay, so our second pocket's done, and then we're going to do the exact same thing with our third and final pocket. So I'm just going to put my two pieces of washi on the side, and again, that's just to secure it in place so you know that it's not going to move. Once you get it in that perfect placement, you know it's not going to move. It's going to stay right where it needs to be. And I'm just going to stick that down, fold these down. So it looks like I'm pretty good width-wise. I'm going to move it over just slightly to my left. I think the last one I didn't center perfectly, so it's a little wonky. That looks good. I'm going to turn it this way so that I can see how it looks when I'm looking at the page, the way that you're going to display it. And it looks pretty good to me. So again, I'm just going to fold. Now I have two that I have to deal with. I'm going to fold those up. I'm going to take my fuse tool. I'm going to do a little fuse right in the middle. One right on the end. One right on the other end. Get that down, and then I'm just going to kind of slowly work my way into filling in those gaps. Oops, that one I went all crazy. Wow, why can't I not get this one done? Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to do this and just take my tool, run it along. Everything looks good. I'm going to take my 2 pieces of washi up. I keep them. You can reuse them multiple times. And that's our page. So you can flip them up and there you go. I think because I had a small journaling card, I couldn't really go into who made what. So I think I might take the photos out and just put like a little strip of white paper and just indicate who made which pumpkin so that I know in the future. But other than that, this is basically what your waterfall is going to look like, and we made every single one of these pockets. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I plan on doing tons more Project Life videos. I promise I will be more prepared next time, so I'm not scatterbrained and all over the place. But I'm glad that this page turned out great. I actually really like the way that it turned out. I love the waterfall of the pictures of the pumpkins. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video too. Check my coordinating blog post for all of the information on what products I used, where I got everything, and hopefully I will see you guys later. Bye!